In one of the most sensational criminal cases in Hong Kong's history, an American expatriate, Nancy Ann Kissel, was convicted of the brutal murder of her husband, Robert Kissel, an investment banker. This shocking event, which unfolded in their luxury apartment in the Parkview complex on November 2, 2003, became a global spectacle filled with drama, betrayal, and intrigue. Nancy's story was one of alleged abuse, a failed marriage, and the deadly consequences of a desperate woman pushed to her breaking point. Nancy and Robert Kissel had what many would consider the perfect life. Living in Hong Kong, Robert was a well-respected banker, working for Merrill Lynch and earning millions. Nancy, a mother of three, spent her days managing their luxurious home and engaging with the expat community. They seemed like the epitome of success, wealthy, privileged, and in a relationship that appeared to be solid. But beneath the glittering surface, their marriage was far from perfect. Robert's behavior became more erratic over the years. He was known to abuse alcohol and drugs, creating a toxic environment at home. Nancy was allegedly subjected to both emotional and physical abuse, including sexual violence. The dark side of their marriage was hidden from public view, but inside their apartment, Nancy was living a nightmare. In mid-2003, Nancy's life took an unexpected turn. While visiting the United States, she met Michael Del Priore, a Vermont-based electrical repairman who had worked on their home. Their affair began, and Nancy felt as though she finally found someone who understood her. The passion she found in the arms of her lover was a stark contrast to the abusive marriage she had endured for years. Meanwhile, Robert, suspicious of his wife's infidelity, hired a private investigator to spy on her and even installed spyware on her computer. The paranoia and trust issues in their marriage reached a boiling point. Robert allegedly filed for divorce, claiming that Nancy was unfit to care for their children and threatening to take them away from her. Nancy, feeling cornered and desperate, began planning an escape, but her plan would take a dark and deadly turn. On November 2, 2003, Nancy's actions would alter the course of her life forever. Earlier that day, the Kissels attended services at a local synagogue. Afterward, Nancy prepared strawberry milkshakes for her children, but this was no ordinary milkshake. She had laced the drinks with a potent cocktail of sedatives, hoping to drug her husband into submission. When the sedatives took effect and Robert was rendered unconscious, Nancy seized the opportunity. She waited for the children to leave the apartment, then confronted her husband. A violent argument ensued. According to Nancy, Robert had told her he was filing for divorce and that she was unfit to care for their children. In a fit of rage, he allegedly threatened her with a baseball bat. In response, Nancy grabbed a heavy figurine and struck him in the head several times. Robert fell to the ground, but Nancy, in her panic, wasn't finished. She then proceeded to roll his lifeless body in a rug and hide it in a storage room. For several days, Robert's disappearance went unnoticed, as Nancy continued with life as though nothing had happened. Nancy's cover-up was far from perfect. The authorities soon grew suspicious when friends and family noticed Robert was missing. His colleagues at Merrill Lynch reported that he hadn't been at work for several days. Nancy's strange behavior raised alarm bells, and soon the police began investigating. A neighbor of the Kissels, Andrew Tanzer, testified that he had tasted the milkshake and quickly became drowsy and unconscious. Nancy denied drugging the milkshake, claiming she would never harm her children or anyone else's. But the evidence told a different story. When the police eventually searched the apartment, they discovered Robert's body wrapped in a carpet in the storage room. Bloodstains, clothing, and linens were found throughout the apartment, further corroborating the gruesome details of the murder. The trial began in June 2005, and the courtroom drama soon captivated both the expat community and the media. Nancy's defense team argued that she was the victim of years of abuse and that she had killed her husband in self-defense. She claimed to have no memory of bludgeoning Robert to death, even though she admitted to striking him with the figurine. The defense also pointed to her mental health issues, suggesting that she was suffering from diminished responsibility due to the trauma of her marriage. Despite these claims, the prosecution argued that Nancy's actions were premeditated. They painted a picture of a woman who had plotted her husband's death, driven by her desire to run away with her lover and collect a life insurance payout worth $18 million. They contended that Nancy had drugged Robert with sedatives, and in a moment of passion, struck him in the head multiple times, leading to his death. After 65 days of testimony, the jury found Nancy guilty of murder in September 2005. She was sentenced to life imprisonment. However, Nancy's legal battle did not end there. In February 2010, the Court of Final Appeal quashed her conviction, citing legal errors during the trial. A retrial was ordered, and in January 2011, the process began anew. During the retrial, Nancy once again claimed self-defense and argued that she had been provoked by Robert's abusive behavior. The prosecution, meanwhile, continued to argue that Nancy had carefully planned the murder, driven by greed and infidelity. The jury deliberated for several weeks, hearing evidence from more than 50 witnesses. On March 25, 2011, they found Nancy guilty of murder once again. She was sentenced to life imprisonment, a sentence she continues to serve at Tai Lam Center for Women in Hong Kong. The case of Nancy Kissel is a haunting and tragic tale that has captivated people around the world. It's a story of betrayal, love, and revenge that ended in a brutal murder. While Nancy's defense team argued that she was a victim of years of abuse, the jury ultimately found that she had planned and executed her husband's death. In the end, the Kissel case serves as a cautionary tale of how a marriage can unravel in the darkest ways and how the consequences of one's actions can reverberate through time. The murder of Robert Kissel and the subsequent trial of Nancy Kissel will forever remain a shocking chapter in Hong Kong's criminal history. Thank you for watching this gripping story. If you found this case as fascinating as I did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think of Nancy's actions? Was she a victim or a cold-blooded killer? Let me know your opinions. Until next time.